Welcome to Domain 2, Section 2.8, Mitigation Strategies. In this session, we will turn from naming AI threats to neutralizing them, grouping the many possible controls into practical families you can actually deploy. Why does this matter beyond the exam? Knowing a threat is only half the job. The value is in the fix. Understanding these mitigation families lets you recommend the right control for a given threat and recognize that a single strong control often defends against many threats at once. Let's set the frame. Once an organization chooses to mitigate a risk, it pairs each threat with one or more controls. There are dozens of specific pairings, but they cluster into a manageable set of families. And seeing the families is far more useful than memorizing every row of a table. The first family is monitoring and detection. Continuous monitoring, anomaly detection, baseline modeling, and logging and alerting catch a wide range of threats, from model drift and denial of service to data poisoning and unusual behavior by spotting when something deviates from normal. The second family is fairness and ethics controls. Bias detection audits, diverse training data, fairness assessments, ethics frameworks, transparency reports, and fundamental rights impact assessments tackle bias, amplification, hallucinations, and ethical failures that no technical patch can fix. The next family is access and identity controls. Strong authentication, multi-factor authentication, identity and access management, privileged access management, and zero trust design defend against unauthorized access, insider threats, and deepfake-driven impersonation. Alongside it sits the input and output family. Input sanitization, output validation, and structured prompt templates, blunt prompt injection, and improper output handling, while application interface throttling, rate limiting, and access controls defend against model theft and extraction through the interface. Another family targets data and model integrity, data validation, data provenance tracking, strong cryptography, adversarial training, and adversarial testing protect against model poisoning, model inversion, and evasion. And for fabricated content, watermarking, digital signatures, media forensics, and public awareness efforts counter deepfakes and disinformation. Two more families round things out. Governance and compliance controls, like compliance frameworks, legal reviews, audits, and algorithmic impact assessments, address regulatory, legal, and market manipulation risk. And human and organizational controls, like keeping a human in the loop, workforce upskilling, skill-based hiring, fail-safe and kill-switch mechanisms, and green computing strategies, address over-reliance, skill gaps, rogue behavior, and environmental impact. One overarching point ties it together. Because AI dramatically expands the circle of stakeholders and threats, organizations are strongly advised to revisit, and if needed, redefine their risk appetite and tolerance, rather than assuming the limits set for ordinary operations still fit. Let's bring it all together. Mitigation pairs controls to threats, and the controls cluster into families. Monitoring and detection, fairness and ethics, access and identity, input and output handling, data and model integrity, content authenticity defenses, governance and compliance, and human and organizational measures. A single strong control often covers several threats, and the whole effort should prompt a fresh look at the organization's risk appetite. You now know how to defend against the AI threats you have learned to spot. Every important topic and idea from this session is covered in the multiple choice questions on RooCloud.com. Before you move on to the next session, work through the chapter-wise questions there, because matching threats to mitigations is exactly the kind of pairing the exam loves. Practice first, and then move forward with confidence. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next episode.